Alright, we're back with a fan favorite, and we're checking out an awesome mill that was unfortunately destroyed in one of the recent wildfires in California. See an awesome tank down there, huge tank, and see the remains of the structure over there. We're just checking out the smelter right here. Don't fall on my butt first. And of course, the fire destroyed the mill, but it didn't burn through the area where we need to hike, so it was hard to get through and get around, but of course what we want to see the most is burned, so that's life, huh? Here, look at the inside. Amazing how much is still here. Would have been awesome to see this site. I keep using that word too much, but this is a great site. I was going to say it would have been awesome to see this before the fire, of course. Alright, we were just up there and come down to the next level down. And you can see all the charcoal here. Gives you a sense of how much wood was here that burned. A better view of that skimmer tank right there. And yeah, looking at this really gives you a sense of how much was lost. See all the concrete foundation here, all through there. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but that's all waste rock right there. Huge, huge, huge waste rock pile. And of course, there's a big grill operation up there. It was impacted by the fire. But, you know, because it had the attractive ingredients for somebody who wanted to do a big grow operation. It was flat and level. There's plenty of water around, and yet before the fire, it was well camouflaged by all the trees. See all the those are like old carbide cans down there. Really sorry we didn't get to see this before the fire. That would have been something special. See the rock wall made up there. That's a high quality rock wall. Alright, down to the next level. And glad the guys are there to give some perspective. You see these cable rings here? I mean, here, those have been holding together wooden tanks. And so there obviously was one there, down there, and then right where Chuck is. You can see that one was obviously filled with a bunch of well, tailings or other such material, because you see the formation of where it was sitting inside the tank before the wooden tank burned away. And speaking of tanks, another view of that skimmer tank right there. You see the barrels going up the side, and then the ladder right there. So the mill's down there. You see that skimming tank there, and that grow operation I was talking about extends from way over there all through here and back that way. And this is why you kind of want to pay attention to the season in which you are out looking for mines. You know, it's obviously not active now, but you know, we come over here in September, October, we're in a very different story. Alright, we just dropped into this mine, and I'm already overwhelmed by how much stuff is here. It's absolutely wild. We found where the drift keeps going that way. My friends are reconning that right now. I'm into filming things, so I take more time. Right here in front of me, there's remains of a changing room back there. And then I've been looking at this, and I think this was actually a blacksmith operation over there. You can see how much stuff is in here. I thought I would do this sequentially, starting with the changing room over here. Make my way over there. Wow. See, I've got a hallway here. We'll go back there in a minute. Here's that's changing room there. I didn't look back here yet. Let me look back here. Okay, that just runs into the collapse there. So, starting with the changing room. It's all lined with concrete. As you can see, ventilation, and all the hoses and stuff here. The benches are still here. They even have some miner's gloves there. I don't think I've ever seen an underground changing room before. Those I've seen before have always been on the surface. Toilet back there. This mine has everything from the looks of it. Still got the plumbing intact. That is extraordinary. This is where we were looking down the hallway. We were looking from over there. That's sealed off there. It doesn't go anywhere. Man, they had everything here. Look at that. You had an oven. It's hard taking everything in. Don't know what these rooms were yet, but they're all stripped out from the look of it. This is so weird to be doing this underground rather than on the surface. I'm exploring buildings underground. They all have this little slot right here. I'm not sure. It just goes to the rock right there, so I'm not sure what that's about. This is obviously a closet. Empty closet, of course. But a closet nevertheless. Still have the fixtures in place. Ah, there's a bathtub even. Wow. That one, another toilet. Never thought I'd be excited about a toilet before, but in this location, I think this is pretty amazing. We're underground, guys. Wow. What a place. Wow. Very, very, very cool. And makes me excited about what else might be in this mine. My friends aren't back yet, so obviously it keeps going. So I'm not going to promise you we're going to get good stuff, but I've got a very strong suspicion that we're going to get into some good stuff. So I'm going to backtrack and I will pick up at what I think was a blacksmith's operation. All right, we just looked back there and I'm back next to what I believe was the blacksmith's operation. This right in front of me is, I think, just tools and equipment. There's bits of metal all over the place, so I'm actually standing on a pile of drill steel right now. There's a bunch mixed in with all this rock that's come down. And then look at all that right there. See that rock just hanging right there? Pretty safe, huh? Anyway, I don't think there's much to see over here because so much wood has fallen down on this stuff, but you get the idea. I'm really curious about what else is in this mine too, so I don't want to spend too much time here. So let's look over my shoulder at the blacksmith. There's that workbench right there. and I'm looking over the blacksmith's operation now. You can see the stack right there that runs up and out there. And I can see blacksmithing tools and things like that. So that is what this was right here. I think this is the first underground blacksmithing operation I've ever seen as well. Pretty incredible. I'm sorry so much stuff has come down. I'd love to get a closer look at some of this, but even this is pretty amazing. I'll try to squeeze down there and get a different perspective for you, and then we'll head up and over that way. I just crawled under that. I was shooting from over there a moment ago, and here's a different perspective on this part of the operation. See some of the equipment down there. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, I am very curious about what else is in this mine. So I'm going to turn the camera off and climb up through this mess and head deeper down the adit. I just dropped down through there, and the reason we had to go through that way is because that's what the portal looks like. So obviously that is not a green light for us to go through there. It's impossible. So fortunately, go up and around through that chamber. But as you saw, I am now in the main adit, and this is absolutely incredible. See the rails right there? There's just stuff everywhere in this mine. Unreal. Everywhere I look, I'm seeing stuff. Wow. There's so much here. Looks like a flat car right here. A huge one. Man, look at the size of this. This compressor is just absolutely gigantic, and the fact that it's underground, I mean, I'm blown away by this mine. Wow, we'll get more of that in just a sec. Just want to show you what's over here. You see all the metal piled up here, tons of drill steel and pipes and such. Crazy. But yeah, this is an industrial work of art. It's this flat car here. It's like a locomotive or trammer. And then looks like a whole string of ore cars just running back there. There's a compressor. Man, look at this thing. I actually wish I'd explored this mine first before doing video, because I'm just sort of awestruck on the video. I'm not being very articulate.
There's so much to look at.
Really. Man, everywhere you look. And then that runs out there and then overhead and off somewhere in the distance. I was just shooting over there. Let's see what's over here. Back this way. There's all kinds of stuff back here too. as you can see. We were looking in there just a moment ago. Wow. Like I said, everywhere I look, there's stuff to see. Obviously, they're storing parts for the compressor here. Man, the light bulbs are still intact even. Big barrel right here. Empty, of course. Actually, I shouldn't say of course in this mine, because this mine seems like it has everything. Here's a view of the backside of that compressor. Crazy. I'm on the other side of that compressor now. The CP that you were seeing stands for Chicago Pneumatic. This dates from probably the 20s or 30s. A compressor of this size would have put out probably about 300 horsepower. And with that airline, it would probably power about 15 drills. So this is beefy indeed. I was looking at this for a minute trying to figure out what it was, and it's actually pretty innovative. This thing right here moves, and what it would do is it would scrape grease off and dump it down in the sump, and then as the wheel went through it, it would pick it up again. So it would be getting a constant and consistent grease delivery, if you will, which I think that's pretty innovative. Those voices are my friends talking. So much stuff back here. It's just overwhelming to try and take all this in. Obviously somebody's come in and stripped out all the copper, but there's still just a staggering amount of stuff here, so I'm in no way disappointed, believe me. Wow. All right, well, I've been geeking out on this for a while. You guys are probably getting impatient. I'll slide past that locomotive and see what else is down there. All right, one last view of the compressor. And don't forget, this is underground, you guys. That is what makes it so much more incredible to me. I mean, it's already an incredible compressor, but the fact that it's underground, to me, that makes it even more amazing. Quite a place. Quite a place. Any of these things by themselves would be super impressive, but those are my friends up there. Have all this stuff in the same mine. It's just mind-blowing. So yeah, there's that line from the compressor running down. You can see all the cables and such they've got there. There's a look at the complexity of the connections. There's a look at the locomotive. Very amazing. Gosh, I just keep over how much stuff is in here. So this building that was off to the side, let's look inside here. Well, looks like another workshop. See all the metally bits. The floor is covered with metally bits. And so are the shelves. We'll look all over this in just a second. Just trying to show you everything on the floor first. It's just so hard to take all this in. Okay, let's look at the shelves. Someone that's a machinist probably knows what each one of these individual bits does. So much stuff is still here. Those of you that have watched a number of my videos know how rare it is to find a mine that still has this much stuff. You know that it's unprecedented to see this much stuff. And the compressor we were checking out is on the other side of that. Good old Westinghouse. Okay, let's continue. Doesn't have a roof on it. I just realized. Let's continue, because there's a lot more here. These ore cars are gigantic. The side of the ore car there, that goes up to my chin. And I'm just under 6 feet, so that tells you how high that is. Got, looks like a continuation of this workshop here. Wow. Look at all these shelves. Man, oh man, and those are almost all full of stuff still. I could do an entire video just on each one of the things we've seen so far. Like I could do a whole video on that compressor. I could do a whole video on these workshops. Looks like somebody's little desk right here. See this? See that shelf or a pull-out drawer would have fit right in there. So just imagine how much work was done on that desk. So much stuff in here. Just a bunch of nails and stuff there. Oh, you can still see the rod. See, it says clamps, different size clamps. This is one of those mines where it's kind of awkward because I know some of you want me to linger on a lot of this stuff for longer, but other of you are probably impatient and want to know what else is in this mine, so I'm trying to be conscientious of both. Not spend too much time, but at the same time, this is incredibly special and unique, and I don't want to miss a chance to document it. Because a site like this, all too often we've seen these just disappear overnight. Thanks to the Forest Service or Mother Nature or all kinds of entities. It's realized because I was looking inside, I missed seeing the writing here. Assorted, looks like charge bolts, long. And then a lot of them are on the ground. That's funny, I was standing on a boot with my boot. Alright, well, can't even imagine what else might be in this mine, so let's go take a look, because again, I'm very curious where this keeps going. Oh, those labels are lost to time, I'm afraid. Alright, so here's that string of ore cars. See, it runs that way. I might actually have to climb through those to get over. I cannot believe how much equipment is in here. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to climb through the ore cars. Look inside. See, there's some ground fall inside. Those things are massive. We'll get another look at those in a minute. Let's look at this last room of the workshop first, though. Here's looking back on where we've come. Okay, this is a smaller one. It's like some ventilation pipe. And actually, that's about it. Obviously, a workbench right here, but not much equipment here. See, probably the electrical system there. And they've got the sides protected with that sheet metal. But that looks like it's about it for this workshop. So, it is now time. Yes, we're definitely have to climb through those. See, that's blocked off right there. It's now time for us to make our way deeper into the mine. But first I'm going to show you a little bit about these ore cars. These are much bigger than I'm used to seeing. There's a look inside this one too. Whole string of them here. Tell you what, you want a good workout, try climbing through a train of ore cars. That's not easy. As you can see, I'm on the other side now. See a wheel right there. A bunch of other stuff back here. This is ore car related stuff. Not that, of course, but the stuff lower down was. You see that giant airline running along there that we saw the amazing compressor for. This mine just keeps getting better and better. We've got another locomotive here. Looks like a bunch of connectors, track connectors right here. So the locomotive right there, and then there's a concrete conduit. Looks like running back there, but it's full of material, so I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. How about this locomotive though? This is cool. This one's in better shape than the other one. You can still see some of the controls here. This thing would have put out a lot of power. Very, very cool. See how big it is? Well, you don't have anything for scale, but that's probably, from where I'm standing, it's probably 10 feet to the front of that. Just wild. And the drift runs there to the sides of the track. When I get over there, I'll put my boot next to it so you can see how big the track is. Pretty wild. see if there's anything over here. All right, yeah, I'll slide by this and pick up over there. Here's the front side of that locomotive, and I'm standing on that track, and I've got my boot here, so you can see how big it is. I'm holding it sideways. This is size 12, and look how far apart that rail is. That is big, big rail. Big, big mine. Looks like we got another little workshop over here on the left. The adit carries on that way. We'll go in just a second. You know, normally we're just practically racing through these mines because they're stripped out, but this one is obviously an exception because it's got so much stuff. So we're only like 150 feet in. Not sure what that was. Take a quick peek in here. This wheel has been tested. Hold on. This wheel has been tested for use. Huh. At a speed not to exceed something. Amazed that that is still readable. Is readable even a word, or did I just make that up? Should have said legible. Legible would be more grammatically correct, probably. Look at all this stuff in here. It's insane. Back in this one, big roller right there. A bunch of equipment tossed here. It doesn't look like much that I want to climb all the way back there for, though. This big grease bucket here at my feet. Would not want to stick anything in that I wanted to keep. I missed the tank right here in front of me here too. It's just so much stuff. I'm sure I'm missing stuff too that you guys are seeing at home that I'm just kind of glossing over because I'm overwhelmed by how much stuff is here. That's the side of the workshop we are just in. Looks like there's a junction up here possibly. Find out in just a second. Another little workshop. Looks like this one's got a bunch of belts inside of it. As you can see, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. All right, I'm gonna have to swap in a new battery. So I'll do that and we'll pick up right there. I was just shooting from back there. There's that locomotive and that little workshop. I arrived at the junction next to the biggest underground timber I've ever seen in my life. That is not an exaggeration. That is a mature tree. There's my hand on that. I can't even pull back far enough to show you. But look at the size of my hand in relation to that notch right there, okay? Now let me pull back so you can see how big that is. That's easily 3 feet thick. I mean, if you just drew a straight line across that, it'd be 3 feet. Unbelievable. In other words, from side to side, 3 feet, no exaggeration. That's unbelievable. So I got this junction here. You see the rail I'm standing on comes in like so, and it connects to this right-left rail here. There's obviously a winch right here and a bunch of equipment associated with that. And as you can see, the drift runs off in that direction. However, I'm a right-hand rule kind of guy, so I think I want to see what's down here first. Looks like I got the remains of a flat car right here with the wheels gone. And some gigantic timbers here. Looks like another flat car right there, possibly. Why is that? I guess they were just really concerned about this section. Look how thickly timbered that is. I mean, to be fair, it is buckling. They knew what they were doing, obviously. There's a fair amount of airflow through here. I don't know if you guys are picking that up on the microphone, but there's a fair amount of airflow. Looks like false floor right there, so I think I need to be a bit careful here. There's something going off to the left there, but I think I'm going to go around this section that way because I don't want to fall down fall through a false floor. Well, I ignored my better judgment because I was curious, and I don't know if you can look down there or not, but that is definitely a false floor down there, and there is air blown out, so not sure what that connects to. Looking ahead, I can't tell if there's more stuff up there or not. By here, through to my left. Oh wow. This is interesting. This room to my left plunges down to a void with a bunch of mist coming up, and I can't even see the bottom. That's nuts. So, be careful here. There's stuff over there. And there's a bunch of stuff piled up here. You can see rail right there. That's a flat car on the rail. And then there's another room or a workshop back there. See some large ore car wheels. But there's no way I'm going back there because that's completely undercut. That's all rotten wood that's undercut. This is crazy. So that void is right here, and looking to my left, it looks like a giant head frame for a winch that runs up. I can't even show you really. It runs up that way. I might be able to, I was saying I might be able to get over there to get a view of that, but it's, this is a bit spicy. All these false floors and such. This is just an empty cabinet. I'm going to lean out over here as much as I can. That's what's back there. Well, I really did not expect this. I thought this was just going to be another simple workshop. That's the surprise drop room right there. I noticed there was a switch that I forgot to mention earlier next to this skip car here, which is pretty cool. I'm seeing that this goes around. I'm thinking we can go around to the left and possibly get a better view of that head frame and winch back there. Meantime, got another workshop here. This one is in pretty rough shape, pretty rusted out. Someone's gloves are there still. It's cold in here, it's making my nose run. It's a curious little cabinet right here. All right, I think that's it for this room. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, wow, look at this, they even had a window. I'd missed that. That's crazy. Here's a look at some of the rock we're in. Looks pretty quartzy, isn't it? Window, it's even still mostly intact. Crazy. Okay, the surprise drop chamber is right there. And then we're gonna go see what's over here. We were just checking out that workshop right there. The drift keeps going there. And there's all these sections where stuff is dropped away, so you can see how much of this mine, at least what we're walking on, is based on backfill. This is the way that we are going. That's my friend's jacket right there. You see a big spool of cable right there, or rope as miners call it. Empty spool right there. The tracks keep running that way. There's a collapse there. I'll take a closer look at that in a minute. Looks like a flat car here. And yeah, that wraps around back to where we were looking earlier. We'll go there in a bit. There's a winch here, a manway here, dropping down, except that ladder is totally rotten, unfortunately. But yeah, that drops down to who knows where. There's air coming out. So I've got that manway dropping down here, as you can see. There's a rotten ladder. Here's the front or back of that flat car, depending on your perspective. I noticed that the label, or I guess you would call that a label, painted on the side of this spool is still intact. It says Leshen and Sons. Leshen and Sons, St. Louis. And that says wire rope. Right there. Pretty freaking cool to see all that. I do have to be careful where I'm walking because there's a lot of holes here. So yeah, there's that collapse right there. Looks like I might be able to stick my head through there. There's some stuff over here. Let's go check that out to finish out this section, and then we'll head back and look at that stuff. Looking overhead, you can see how solidly they've got this timber. Those are just massive, absolutely gigantic. But right now, let's stay focused on this. How can I get in there? Is there a door over here? All right, it's just over there. And I've come to this workshop. See all the little cubby holes right here. And I was trying to make out the writing here, but I was not able to do so. Oh, it says bit grinding, and something. There's more up there. But bit grinding I got. And that, I thought that looked like a bit grinder, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to be wrong and look stupid. Oh my God. Those are all drill bits. I've never seen so many drill bits in my life. That is unreal. Wow. Oh, I got some core samples over here. It's full of core samples there, and then all through here. Got core samples all over the place. There's some in front of me here. And I don't know what was, probably drill bits back there. Who knows? There's a bunch of drill bits over here too. I mean, there's my boot, my size 12 boot on this pile. It extends all the way over there. There are thousands of drill bits here. I mean, look how thick this pile is. Look how high that pile is. It's insane how much work was being done here. So yeah, in case you didn't get it, this is a machine for grinding the bits so they can be sharpened. Unreal how much stuff is in here. Yeah, I was just looking for a manufacturer's plate or something, but no luck. All right, let's go check out the drift running that direction. That's the death drop room. That's the room with all the drill bits and core samples. That's that manway passed over. And now we're checking out this stuff. Let's see where this goes. These pieces of wood are just enormous. So here we are looking into the death drop room. You can see it plunges down there. I see my friend's light right there, so he's looking in. That's where he's standing where I was earlier. There's a much better view of the head frame running up that way. And unfortunately, I can't get any closer because this is where that rotted floor is undercut, and you can see it sagging and ready to cave right there. But, like I said, looking up, you can see where that ran. And the scale of that is just unbelievable. And you can see his light right there. He's a full-grown adult. So look at his size compared to the scale there. Gives you an idea. You can see all the mist coming out of there too. And then that flat car is about to fall down there any second. I mean, if somebody breathed on that wrong, I think it's in a cave. It'd be exciting. This actually keeps going too because we came in here and the rails join. There's a junction there, and then this set of rails comes back this way. Just noticed all that there. And of course, there's more stuff back here. So here's taking a look at all of the bits and pieces of machinery off of this siding. Just so much back here. Unreal. Giant spools of cable or rope, to use the miners' terminology. Rollers, wheels for every possible contraption you could imagine. Connectors, giant chains, axles, ventilation pipe. Mountains of drill steel. So much. Just standing over there, looking at more stuff back here. I see pieces of drills. I have no idea what those were. They look like cannonballs. I have no idea what those were used for, but they're hooked to that giant chain. So, some kind of anchor. There's a scoop right there. Looks like the front of a mucker. So much stuff. Those are all the pieces of drill steel stacked back there. Crazy how much is back here. Wow. A tank right there. Amazing, amazing stuff. We were just looking in there. I was standing over there, and the drop room of death is right here. And if you remember earlier, I was standing there looking across and was curious about what was in the room over here. Well, guess what? We've got a back door. Let's get in there and see what's back here. Looks like more giant pieces of equipment are stacked back here. More cable, more wheels, boxes and crates all over. Looks like somebody's shirt they didn't want anymore. The rails run in and stop there. I wonder if this was a workshop for ore cars or locomotives or something. You know, bring them in here and work on them. Yeah, for example, that looks like part of a trammer. See, that's the knob you use for the trammer. So I think that's what this workshop was, which would explain all the large boxes and crates and pieces of equipment here. A bunch of belts and hoses over here. And then all those spikes sticking out of the wall to hang stuff on. Yeah, sure, a piece of equipment came in this crate. Oh yeah, look, there's a big stack of wheels here, which is exactly what I would expect if they were working on trammers and ore cars and that kind of thing. Here is looking across. That's where I was standing earlier to look down the winds. Yeah, look, these are all ore car and trammer pieces here. I'm not stepping out there though. That false floor was super sketchy. As much as I love this mine so far, I am not stepping out there. It's my friend over there. Sure, some good stuff over there, but you couldn't pay me enough to go out there. So much stuff. Unbelievable. The mold on this, or whatever that is pretty interesting. Again, you got all those wheels right there. And then this room. Hard to say, it's all been emptied out. But obviously all part of this workshop. Almost looks like a gun rack right there. But I don't think it was. Looks like they had a fire extinguisher there. More racks. Incredible. Incredible. We were just looking in the room on this side there. Notice there's a pump right there. Back in this ore car trammer workshop. I guess it was just heavy equipment in general. You got a pump right there. And I think that is it for this end. Pretty amazing stuff. Pretty amazing. I'm going to take some still images and then we'll catch up back where we left off over there. I'm back in this main drift. The attic we came in on off to the left there, and the room of dropping death is there. And I've done everything here except I haven't looked through that collapse yet. I want to finish out the stuff here because we haven't been down that way yet. I want to finish out the stuff here before going through that. So let's head down here and check out this stuff before I head back and do that. It is backtracking. I normally hate backtracking, but I want to show you what else is in here. That's where the winds is, right there. You can see all the steam or mist blasting up out of there. So I'll climb over all this stuff and pick up over there. All right, that's the section we've already explored, except for the caved section. See all the mist back there. The adit we came in on runs off that way. I'm back at that winds where I went right. Not the winds that's in the room down there. Oh no, this is another winds that drops down here. This one has caved, or at least the timber supports have all caved, and so it's plugged now. That's not a rope going out in front of me, that's a rusted cable. Don't want to get too close to the edge because the collar is all rotten here. But that's a good view down there, I think. I don't know if this is the hoist for this winds or not. I guess it is, because you see the cable or rope, to use the miners terminology, runs up to there, and then that's the one that's running down in front of me. So I guess this, it doesn't make sense though. Normally especially because you've got this frame leading up. No, I guess not. I guess this was smaller than the other one. I guess this is all just support timbers. Like there's a little balcony up there. I don't know what's up there. I could even get up there because that ladder looks pretty rotten. I'll take a look at it. If it's possible, I will. I haven't even talked with the locomotive here yet, but I will. Anyway, so this hoist here is obviously what was being used down there. So I guess they'd hoist stuff up and then just dump it into an ore car. That would have been sitting here. And then I didn't know what that was on the way in. I still don't know what it is. A lot of this stuff is collapsed down the winds though, so it's not always possible to tell. That's that gigantic timber I said was the biggest I've ever seen underground. I still stand by that, just showing you how that fits in to all this other stuff over here. See, it's all timbered up very solidly. There's a, I don't know if this was a cabinet at one time or what, but they've got doors with hinges all along here too. So, front of the locomotive here, and I just noticed all this stuff sitting up there. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Over here, this falls away below. Looks like it's all stoped out down there. Of course, this is all false floor running back. There's more stuff back there. I do not want to go over this, the rotten timbers, so I'm going to go see if I can find a way around the other side. Just seeing if there's anything over here. Oh, here are the controls for the hoist. There. Here. Presumably the cage is still on there, or the ore bucket, whatever they're using, because that rope is, or yeah, I was using rope, the miners terminology. That rope is taut, so it's got weight on the end of it. So still down there somewhere. I went around that side of the locomotive, but you can see it's still all false floor through here, which obviously super thick boards and such, it wouldn't have been a concern in the miner's day, but given how long it's been since this was operational and it's all rotted, slightly more concerning now, something you want to pay attention to. Just wanted to show you all this stuff here. Not sure what that was back there. That thing looked like a balcony, it just opened up into that, so don't know what that was about. You can see the massive timber supports they have here. It's just incredible how huge these are. I mean, look at the size of the locomotive. It's a huge locomotive. That's probably 4.5 feet wide right there. And then compare that to the size of the timbering. It's pretty incredible. Here's a look. The controls for the locomotive or the trammer. That's where the operator would have sat right there. This is kind of tricky. I actually don't know what that was for right there. That piston. Oh, I think. Okay, I think my friend said, who's a mining engineer, said that this piston here and that, in other words, they would pull the ore car, the trammer or locomotive would pull the ore cars here, and then that would rise up and push the ore car up and tip it violently into here. So these screens would have been moved, and I'm basically standing over a big ore bin right now. See what I'm saying? They got them screened off for safety, but these would have been open and receiving ore. That's what that is. That now it all makes sense. Yeah. So I couldn't figure out why that was a giant piston right there. Then I remembered he'd mentioned that. So that would just lift up and hook on the ore car and flip it up. Apparently the ore here was very sticky, and so it had to be shaken out rather violently. I don't think there's anything to see down here. No, this just ties into that ore bin. Got a big hose right there. And it looks like there's another ore sheet right here. See how that comes down there? So it must be up stopes and stuff above that have dropped ore down here as well. So definitely a large ore collection point below me. Alright, well, I'm glad I made sense of that. There's another room over here. There's somebody's slickers in the water. It is drippy and wet back here. There's a little room here. Lots of clothing in here. Look at those jeans. Huh. And it looks like this was insulated with cardboard. This room. It is cold back here. It's really cold back here in this mine. Got the gloves there. I don't know if they're practicing drilling there or what. More clothes. Well, your guess is as good as mine, dear viewers. Don't know what this was all about. More gloves down there. Lots and lots of stuff. Alright, so there's that locomotive right there, and it looks like there's another locomotive there. It appears we have stopes dropping down. Looks like the remains of a ladder right there, dropping down into the darkness. It's a platform right there. And then there's another layer down there. Another platform there. It's just hard to film, sorry. Another platform there. Looks like it's caved over there. But yeah, I think this whole mountain is hollowed out pretty much. Another locomotive here. This one's smaller. I think my friend, don't quote me on this because I'm not sure about this. I think my friend said this was an acetylene. It's driven by acetylene, but I may be mistaken. Or I should say powered by acetylene. This was the most colorful so far. That other one near the beginning had one of these sticking off it too. I don't know what that was for. It looks kind of like the rudder on a ship, to be honest with you. I've not seen that before, so I don't know what that was used for. I'm sure somebody in the audience does, so let us know how that fit into things and how it was used. Look at the controls. Like I said, this one's a bit smaller than the others. There's a chamber over here. It's all sealed off. Looks pretty secure. Looks like maybe a sawhorse right here. It's seen some heavy use, or a rack for holding heavy stuff. Looks like this might have been a transformer, electrical transformer. Sorry, it's really cold in here, so my nose is running. Yeah, that'd be my guess. This mine would have taken a lot of electricity, given how large it is and how much equipment is here. This thing must have been putting out quite a hum. Have you ever heard those? There's some dates. Joe Tadashi, October 16, 1947, 52, 1950. I believe this mine shut down right around 1950, early 50s, so that makes sense. All right, looking ahead, I think this might be the end on this direction because I think that's a huge collapse right there. And unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of this mine is collapsed. What I mean by that is all the upper levels, lower levels are all collapsed. So unfortunately, this is what we get. But this is pretty impressive. So you can only imagine what might be on the other levels. We got more stuff dropping down there, but it's all plugged up. Looks like they just tossed a bunch of stuff back here. Got a few timber supports back here. Stole right there. Another spool, or what would have held a spool of cable or rope. Yeah, that's done, I'm afraid. You can see timbers here smashed down. And that's that, I'm afraid. Too bad, but what an incredible mine. So I guess that's the remains of a flat car right there. Huh. All right, my friends are down there. I promised you I'd go take a look at that collapse section on this end, and so I will go do that. All right, we finished checking out that side of the mine. As promised, back at this collapse here. Gonna crawl through, my friend already went through. I'm gonna crawl through and see how we can do with this one. Okay, we just climbed through there, and on the other side of this collapse here, what'd you say these were called?
They're rings for the bit grinder.
Rings for the brick grinder. Which makes sense given that we're right next to where that room was. And look how many there are.
And there's a hoist right there. Looks like it has a square piston. It's a tugger.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, kind of buried, yeah.
The square pistons are weird. They kind of go up and down and side to side. They're strange. And then that over there looks like that's another drill sharpener right there.
Oh, buried back there?
Yeah.
Huh. There's so much stuff here. It's unreal.
This, I think, is one of those pistons for dumping the cars.
Oh, yeah, that we saw tripping all over the place. Looks just like it, doesn't it? Because there's that notch on the top right there.
And it's so, it has these rings right here. Or, sorry, not the rings. It has the bits of thingies right there so it can pivot as it dumps.
Yeah, no, that perfectly makes sense. Huh. Lots of stuff down back here, as you can see. We need to climb over that and get over there. So I'll pick up over there. Just climb through there. And the next little chamber here, created by the collapses. You see the big air lines and such running up here. And this is going to be a really tight squeeze getting through that. I don't think there's anything over here. No, if there was, it's all buried now. But I definitely have to put the gear away to get up that one. That's going to be rough. Okay, well, believe it or not, we climbed up through that tiny hole down there. So tiny you can't even see it. Had to crawl on the stomach for that one. And we've come into a gigantic stope chamber here. That's, 150, 200 feet up there. Hear the echo. Runs over there. A bunch of material is sloughed off here from there, and it's very precariously balanced here. And so we're a little concerned about climbing up there because we don't want anything to come down, especially that big boulder there, and plug out our tiny, tiny exit opportunity. Behind me, you see the stope drops down as well. It has some stuff over there, but that's all caved. Runs up overhead as well. It's just a gigantic stope. And my friend was going to try and climb up over there, but that's a no-go.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. There's nothing to hold on to.
Nothing to hold on to. So, well, I think we've seen the stope. So, this just gives you an idea of what this mine has inside of it, though. You know, unfortunately, so much of it's caved. But when I said the mountain was hollow, this is pretty much what I meant. Because I think the whole thing is like this in many ways. All right, way out down there. It looks like he's getting ready to do that. You literally have to crawl on your stomach. It is not easy at all. Okay, we just finished checking out that section. And this is, I mean, they were following the vein, and this is the kind of material they were after. Now I realized that I was coming out and looking at this from a different perspective. Just to refresh your memory, those are those giant spools, a flat car right there, and we came to the mine from this direction. So I saw this thing hanging down here earlier, and it was so big I didn't realize what it was. But this is a gigantic ore chute here. See all the ore up there, and this as part of the gate. See, they stopped it, but you can see the ramp right there coming down. They put these here to hold it, but this is far and away the biggest ore chute I've ever seen. That's 5.5, 6 feet across, right there. I've seen some that are 4, but this is 5.5, 6. And I'm trying to be conservative. That is insane. I wish I could show you more of it, but I have an awkward position. Here's a view looking from the side. The stopes up there must be equivalent to the size that we were just checking out. Just wild. The mill is just over there. I've come to the side, and this represents, without a doubt, the greatest concentration of Union Carbide cans that I've ever seen at this mill site. There are a huge number here, but there were a ton of them back where we were too. There's my buddy there. And they extend all past him, through here, up some more, and around. And again, don't forget, there were plenty back where we were earlier too. This is Union Carbide Company. That is impressive, and I'm sure there are more stretching up the hill too. That's crazy. The mill that we're checking out is farther up the hill there, and you can see all these mounds down here, and then this moonscape that I'm in right now is all tailings from that mill that were washed down here. Unreal. The birds seem to like it, but it's not doing them anything good. It extends over here as well. I haven't looked down the side yet, but there's just a ton of material here. My buddy can get a sense of how big this is. Curious what's over the side here, how far down it goes. Oh man, this is a gigantic pile that we're on. Look how far down that goes. That is insane. I didn't realize it was this big. Did you see how far down this drops?
Yeah.
That's insane. This is the leading edge of those tailings that washed down. We were up there earlier, and you can see the remains of a retaining wall they built here, which looks like it was consumed in the fire. Got a piece of it there. So I thought that was interesting. Also, that was really interesting to see how the tailings have stratified here. It's almost like the Cliffs of Dover or something like that, you know? It's really interesting.